the NBA draft happened about 9 days ago. There were a lot of very interesting moves by scouts and GMs that made a lot of fans feel a bit disappointed by their own team. For example, Patrick Williams going 4th overall. If scouts overrated him, they thought he would have been a 10th to 15th pick. But 4th? When I was watching the NBA draft with my friend live, we thought Deni Avdija or Obi Toppin would go 4th. But I just needed to know why the Bulls selected Patrick Williams. The main reasoning of why he went 4th overall is because he is a young player and he is very good at defense. He won ACC 6th Man of the Year. I could see why he would be a 13th pick or something, but 4th? Also, let's talk about how Obi Toppin slipped back to the 8th pick. When I made my mock draft, I projected him to go 4th overall, but the Knicks got super lucky because Obi Toppin was the player they wanted. Another draft prospect I think slipped back too late was Deni Avdija. He is a one-time Israeli League MVP and a 2-time Israeli League champion. He won MVP averaging 24.4 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. He did that as a 17-year-old. Luka Doncic didn't even come close to those stats in the EuroLeague. However, you can make the argument that the Israeli Basketball League is a worse league than the EuroLeague. That is a lot of leagues I just said. But the Israeli League is better than the NCAA. After all, the Israeli League is a pro basketball league. Also, Nico Mannion, a point guard that is a very good playmaker and passer that averaged 14, 3, and 5 in college and slipped back to the 2nd round. Mock draft said that he would go 15th overall. Also, I think all my loyal fans know that I am a die-hard Warriors fan. I'm not a bandwagon, by the way. My second favorite team is the Kings, and at 3 is the Knicks, so you know. And the Warriors got the number 2 pick. I think James Wiseman is the best player in the entire draft. I'm pretty sure everyone is familiar with the number 2 overall pick curse. If you are not familiar with this, the number 2 overall pick curse is anybody who gets selected as the 2nd overall pick will become a bust. And there is a lot of evidence to prove this. Here is a piece of information that represents the number 2 overall picks in the last 10 years that have played in the NBA. And I will also be showing their career PERs. Except for 2, every single one of these players were considered busts sometime in their career. The worst time in these picks were 2010 to 2012. In this 3-year stretch, 3 prospects were selected at the number 2 overall pick, with every single one of them being busts. Evan Turner in 2010, bust. Derek Williams in 2011, bust. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist in 2012, bust. The only prospect who has never been considered a bust so far in this list is Ja Morant, and he has played just 1 season in the NBA so far. Brandon Ingram right now, he isn't a bust, but in 2017, he was considered one. If you don't know what is a bust is a prospect who was picked high and or had high expectations and did not live up to those expectations. There are busts here and there, but these many busts are just historically bad. I have an experiment where you guys can play along. I will be showing you some players' college or in some cases international stats. It is your job to guess what pick that player got drafted at. So this is player number 1. He is a 6'2" point guard that is 21 years old. He averaged 18.1 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 4 assists. He was getting over 2 steals per game and nearly shot 50% from the field. So, what pick did he get drafted at? Well, I am sad to say that he was actually undrafted. Out of the 60 teams that could have selected him, Devin Dotson was undrafted. He got snubbed from the NBA draft. Let's do another one of these. This is a 6'8" power forward that is 19 years old. He specializes in defense. He's averaging 9, 4, and 1 to go along with 1 block and a steal. Guess what pick he got drafted at? 20th? Maybe 25th? Nope, 4th. He got picked 4th overall. And yes, if you are wondering, this is Patrick Williams. He got picked over potential superstars, but he couldn't even average 10 points. Okay, last one of these. This is a 6'5" point guard that is 19 years old. He plays internationally. He averages 15-7, 4-2, and 1. He's not very efficient, but hint, the majority of players in this prospects league are not very efficient. He puts up MVP numbers for the league he plays in. So, what pick was he selected at? He was completely snubbed from being a top 10 pick, and you probably heard of him. His name is RJ Hampton. Some professional NBA draft predictors said he was going to be a top 5 pick. He is statistically one of the best players in the 2020 NBA draft class. Because it's not like he plays in a not very respected league like Denny Avdia. He plays in Australia, the NBL, which by the way, is the same league LaMelo Ball plays in. So yeah, the NBA draft is not super fair, but again, it's not intended to be fair. But let's discuss some facts about number 1 overall picks. For each number 1 overall pick, they have a 75% chance of becoming an all-star. They also have a 20% chance of becoming an MVP, but they have the same exact chance of becoming a bust. The number 1 overall pick is typically not the best player in the draft, and this chart proves that. This is a piece of information that represents the best player in each draft class and what pick they got selected at. On average, the best player in any given draft class is the 9th overall pick. But the thing is, none of these players were selected 9th overall. So to go even further, out of these 10 players, 4 of them were selected 1st overall. 2 of them were selected 3rd overall, 2 of them were selected 15th overall, and 1 of them was selected 10th, and the other was selected at 41st. And yes, if you are wondering, that's Nikola Jokic. Also, there's a lot of players in the NBA draft that were late lottery picks and they were super good, such as Paul George at the 10th pick, or Kemba Walker at the 9th pick, Klay Thompson at the 11th pick, Kawhi Leonard at the 15th pick, Nikola Vucevic as the 16th pick, Tobias Harris at the 19th pick, and Jimmy Butler at the 30th pick. And there's a lot more, like Giannis at 15th, Nikola at 40. Bro, just stop talking! Oh, okay, sorry. So while everyone is putting all of their attention on LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, there is more than likely going to be one hidden all-star in this year's draft class. You don't know who it is, and you don't know when they are going to make that leap from being an average player to an all-star or a superstar. But who do you think that player is? And just as important, when do you think they're going to make that leap?